Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really powerful story about fair lending, data, and a fight for accountability that's been going on for over a decade. We're going to see how advocates take raw numbers and use them to scrutinize a bank's performance, and we'll be focusing on a real-world case involving Associated Bank.
This right here, this is the quote that kicked this whole thing off for us. It's from Chaplain Will Jordan, a community advocate who's been on this for years, and his claim is pretty blunt. Even after a major agreement was signed, the lending data from minority communities is, in his own words, abysmal.
So how do we get to the bottom of a claim like that? Well, we're going to walk through it step by step. First, we need to understand the history here, that decade-long fight. Then we'll dig into the actual numbers to see what abysmal really looks like. And finally, we'll see how that data gets turned into a powerful tool for change. Okay, so to really get why that one word, abysmal, carries so much weight, we have to rewind the clock. This is not some new issue that just popped up. Nope, it's really just the latest chapter in a very long story.
You know, this has been a marathon, not a sprint. It started over 11 years ago with a direct conversation with the bank. When that didn't lead anywhere, the data was taken to the federal government, which kicked off an investigation. That all led to a truly landmark agreement in 2015. But here we are today, and advocates are looking at brand new data, and they're sounding the alarm all over again.
Now that 2015 agreement, that was supposed to be the big fix, right? It was specifically designed to solve the very problems that people are still talking about today. So, what happened?
And that brings us to the million-dollar question. Did things actually get any better? To find out, we have to do exactly what the advocates did. We're going to follow the numbers, using the official 2023 mortgage data for Associated Bank.
So let's get into it. We're going to start with the 30,000-foot view, the bank's lending across the whole country, and then we're going to zoom way in, right down to the specific counties in Illinois that were at the very center of that original complaint.
Okay, so on a national level, the 2023 data shows nearly 11,000 home loans in total. Out of all of those, about 74% went to white borrowers, and just over 6%, those went to black borrowers. This just gives us a baseline before we start to narrow our focus.
Now, let's zoom in on the two states Chaplain Jordan pointed to. In Illinois, you can see that out of more than 1,000 loans, only 115 went to black borrowers. And then you look at Missouri, and the numbers are even smaller, just 8.
But digging deeper into Illinois, you see it's not just about the total volume of loans. It's about the outcomes. If you were a black applicant in 2023, you were about 10 percentage points less likely to actually get your loan approved compared to a white applicant. And you are more likely to get denied. The gap is right there in the numbers.
And this is where the data becomes just incredibly stark. When we zoom into Madison County, Illinois, which was one of the key areas